Hi, welcome to another Entitled Parents episode of StorytimeGuru. In this episode, we will read 3 of the best Entitled Parents stories. Our first episode is titled, Drama Goblin Wants Me to Replace a Gift I Gave Her That She Ruined. Our second episode is titled, Entitled Dad Demands I Fail Because I Caused His Daughter to Fail. Our third episode is titled, Father is Hurt That I Didn't Tell Him I Was Depressed, Tells People He Has 2 children instead of 3. Don't know if this fits here, let me know otherwise. Hope you like it. If you like my content, please support my channel by clicking like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Posted by Anita Derange. Drama Goblin wants me to replace a gift I gave her that she ruined. Drama Goblin equals entitled mom m and m apostrophe s equals her small daughters dh equals my dear husband th equals her trapped husband lc equals low contact. I work retail, I manage, but the job is still very physical and exhausting. My job is 50% work and 50% babysitting. Sometimes BC I'm there all the time. I find some sweet ass deals. I'm super into makeup, Halloween, creepy stuff, etc. I found a few Halloween palettes of makeup, some brushes and some other really awesome Halloween makeup. It was marked down for $1 or under, so I grabbed everything they had. I figured I'd give them as Christmas gifts. I looked online and these palettes were worth $30 to $40 depending on the site, not to mention the other stuff. My DH and Drama Goblin's TH are best friends. She is originally a friend of my DH and mine from high school. However, after about a decade and her still staying in her same mindset, we've drifted apart majorly. You're welcome to search my past posts about her. She's a monster goblin. I am usually pretty LC. She recently was diagnosed with seizures and swore this was a whole new leaf. She was gonna change for the better. A few days ago, her TH happened to come by right before I went to work, and so I made a package to send her of one of all the different makeup/accessories I got. I posted pics of a few of my makeup looks, and she commented she wanted to play too. I sent a bag with TH and told him to tell her I had some for myself and some for another of my friends that sometimes hangs out with Drama Goblin with me, though it's been 3 years. It's been about 4 or 5 days. Last night she randomly messaged me. Maybe I'm taking this wrong, but it went right through me. She said that she had given the makeup I gave to her M&Ms. She said she just didn't think it would be nice enough for her. After M&Ms played with it, she saw how pigmented it was and decided she did like it and tried to take them back. Of course her M&Ms threw a fit and the makeup was ruined in the process. She then complains that she will never get to play with it now. She asks me if I've given my other friend hers yet. I was like, no BC, I've been kind of sick and quarantining since the day after her TH had been over. She then has the audacity to ask if instead of giving that to my friend, I should give it to her instead. BC, it's not fair, her kids broke it. I was shocked. How can a grown 35-year-old woman think that's reasonable? I just didn't even respond. She blew me up for about an hour or so after. I finally read them this morning. It was a lot of it's not fair. She won't even miss it. It's not my fault. My daughters busted it, etc. I wanted to screenshot and send her own message to her, but I refrained. She didn't think she would like them, so she gave them to her daughters. Gave them to 2 fourth-year-old girls to play with. What did she think would happen? Posted by Fat_Manxel. Entitled Dad Demands I Fail Because I Caused His Daughter to Fail. This one will need a lot of context, so bear with me here. I'm 19 at college. Last year I started a language education career. My first language is Spanish, and even though I often have mistakes, I can understand and speak English. Then realized I wasn't in the right place, so I dropped out during the first semester, so now I'm studying theater, which has always my true passion. Anyway, during my first semester on language education we had to go tutoring as a part of our grade. The college I went also had language classes on Saturdays for anyone who wanted to learn a second language. This college only allowed people on their language education's career that had either completed the Saturdays course, that depending on your progress can last up to 8 years, or that may prove they can speak at least 2 languages by a written and oral exam. So I was going tutoring for English speakers that struggle in their Spanish lessons. One of my tutees was an 18-year-old girl who shone by her absence. She didn't show up, not even once, and never gave me a heads up or explained afterwards why she didn't. I just reported with my teacher that she didn't appear, then reached out to her to reschedule the date of our meeting and called it a day. We were given our tutees or parents' contact to set up the day and hour of our meeting within the college facilities. Then the teacher assigned a classroom for the tutoring and had a full report of all tutoring we had to do. Nothing of interest happened until a few days ago. I received a call from a number I didn't recognize, and as the dumb boy I am, I answered. Me? Hello, who's this? ED, are you my name? Me, yes I am. What can I help you with? Working on retail has taken its toll on me. ED, it's your fault that my daughter failed her exams. Me, excuse me? I don't know what. ED, you tutored my daughter, and she didn't learn anything from you. You sabotaged her and made her fail. I'll report you to your teacher and make you fail too. Me, sir, I dropped out last year. ED, that's because of your incompetence. Then you have to pay me for wasting my time taking her to your classes. Me, sir, who's your daughter? ED, I'm not telling you anything. Me, listen, I need to know her name to give it to my ex-teacher, so he can tell you about my tutoring with her. ED, says daughter name. Me, sir, she didn't show up once too. ED, don't you dare lying, I took her to tutoring every time you summoned her. I want to talk to your teacher right now. I guess he forgot I told him I dropped out. Me, wait a moment. I checked my cell phone for my teacher's number and quickly gave him a heads up on what was happening. It's insert number here, anything else. He hung up on me. A while later my teacher informed me of how rude the parent was with him and how he complained of me saying I've been rude to him, and I lied telling him his daughter never went tutoring with me, and demanded I had to fail this semester. The teacher explained that I dropped out, then showed him the empty reports of her tutoring, explained to him that her daughter and I never met. He told me that after he sent him the reports the dad stayed silent for like 20 seconds and then hung up on him, so I guess I won't fail at the college I don't attend to. Edit, I meant I'm studying theater right now. I tried to sound it out and failed miserably. Frown. Posted by Nerdy Girlfriends. Father is hurt that I didn't tell him I was depressed. Tells people he has 2 children instead of 3. Don't know if this fits here, let me know otherwise. Since so many of you liked my last post, here is another one. Read my first post for a little background of my family. But basically I have an elder sister, younger brother, special needs child, mother, stepfather, and father. This is something that happened over a long period of time, and one might say that I'm jealous of sister because of this. It started when I had just ended my 2nd year of high school. I was depressed and had severe anxiety about basically anything at this point. I had stayed at my ex-boyfriend's family for almost 4 months when I moved back to father. Our relationship was already damaged at this point, but it didn't get better after this. I spent one weekend at father, but every night I cried myself to sleep. I was so exhausted from all the stress that had built up, trying to maintain a relationship that seemed one-sided. I talked with my ex's father and asked for advice. We talked and I felt it was best to move to them permanently. They noticed me, they saw that I was depressed, they said they could help me. But in retrospect it only made things worse. I told father, and he became cold. He only said okay, didn't ask why or anything. This made me feel so bad, like I had really hurt him. The day I moved, he only stared at his computer, didn't say anything to me. He only said goodbye to me when I had taken all my things. I tried to talk to him for years after this, but he either ignored me or told me to talk to my new family. I was conflicted, felt horrible, didn't know what to do. I tried to mend things with father after I graduated from high school, explained why I moved. He said, "Why didn't you tell me? I can't read your mind. How was I supposed to know you were so sad?" Yes, he used the word sad to describe my depression. I tried to explain to him why, that I didn't want to say anything because that would mean I accept that I was depressed. I was in denial for the longest time. It wasn't until I almost jumped from the 7th floor that I came to realize how bad it was. Thanks to a friend of mine who had mother's phone number, mother called me and on a whim I answered while I was in full panic mode. I guess this is when mother also realized how bad my depression was. She begged my friend to take me home to her, and when we did I just collapsed. Mother stepped up and drove me to doctor after doctor, and finally we got to see a psychiatrist who prescribed me medication. We had this conversation after all this and I felt strong enough to ask mother to get father to come, so we could talk. Father then came with his oh-so familiar quote he liked to use when he felt he was right, and I was wrong. "You should have listened to me and done what I told you. Then we wouldn't be in this situation now," and that was the end of that conversation. Fast forward a few years, after my son was born, this was when I last spoke to father eye to eye. I sent him a message, asking what I have done wrong. He answered nothing that I'm aware of. I answered back, then why won't you respond to me when I call you or text you? I never got another message again. A few years fly away, and mother calls me one New Year's Eve to tell me some good news and bad news. I was afraid to ask, but wanted to know. Mother told the good news first. Father and sister had finally signed the adoptions papers. I was so happy for them. I told mother to congratulate them for me as I had no way of contacting them. Both father and sister had blocked my number and blocked me on every social media. That's when mother became serious. She took a deep breath before she broke the bad news. Father had gone around telling people he had 2 children, sister and brother. When people had asked him about me, he had only repeated that he had 2 children. He no longer acknowledged me as his daughter. Mother noticed how I became quiet and tried to comfort me with that. Now that she finally had a good relationship with me, she would never let me go again. This is years after the phone incident. See my last post. Mother told me that father and sister had tried to get mother and stepfather to ignore me and shut me out too. She had refused and yelled at them for even suggesting such a thing. I didn't know what to feel, hearing how I, a daddy's girl, no longer had a father after 20 years, on and off. He basically disowned me. I wanted to cry, but I held it in. I had my son next to me, and I am so thankful for it. If he hadn't been there, I would have jumped head first from the balcony, 3rd floor. I broke down after my son fell asleep. I later found that I could access his FB, and I could confirm it by myself. He had written my family consist of sister and brother, none other. By this time I had completely shut down. I'm kind of glad that mother told me, instead of finding out by myself later. I know I haven't been the best daughter, or even a good one at times. I've done some pretty bad things for attention. I've lied to get friends. I've made decisions I regret to this day. I was a depressed teenager, for goodness sake. But it just hurts so much. 5 years has passed since this, and when I have visited mother and met father, they lived in the same town. He ignored me. He acted like I wasn't there. He turned his head when he saw me, turned his back at me, or only answered my greetings out of hateful politeness. If you like my content, please support my channel by clicking like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell.